Have you ever wondered why some women shine with confidence, wisdom, and grace, while others get lost in the noise of this world? The truth is, smart women are not those who have everything, but those who know where to depend, whom to trust, and how to live in alignment with values. Today, I want to share with you how a truly smart woman depends on 5 things that no one can take away from her. 5 things that make her strong, graceful, and unshakable in every situation of life. In our world, people often mistake smartness for fashion, wealth, or position. But the real smartness of a woman is not in how she looks, but in how she thinks, how she feels, and how she connects with the divine guidance of God in her life. When a woman chooses wisely what to depend on, she becomes unstoppable. Her mind becomes sharper, her heart becomes stronger, and her soul becomes peaceful. Let us explore the 5 pillars that every smart woman should build her life upon. Imagine for a moment that you are walking through a crowded marketplace. Voices are everywhere. One person tells you what is best, another person suggests something different, and yet another tells you the complete opposite. If you try to listen to everyone, you will end up lost, confused, and heavy-hearted. This is what happens in life when we try to depend on human opinions. They change from person to person, from day to day, and often from mood to mood. But when a woman decides to base her life on God's wisdom, instead of shifting opinions, she becomes like a mountain, steady, unshaken, and rooted in truth. Dependence on human opinion is like trying to stand on water. You think you have balance for a moment, but soon you realize it cannot hold you. People will praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. They will love you when you fit their expectations and abandon you when you choose your own path. But God's wisdom never changes. It is timeless, eternal, and pure. It guides you like the light of the sun, steady and bright every single day. A smart woman knows this, and so she keeps her ears open to guidance that comes from above rather than the noise that surrounds her. Think about how often we get trapped in other people's judgments. A young woman may dream of building her own business, but people will say, "It is too risky, you will fail." If she listens to them, her dreams die before they are even born. Another woman may decide to focus on her health and well-being, but her friends laugh and say, "Why bother? Just enjoy life." If she listens, she may lose her health and energy, but the woman who turns to God's wisdom will ask within herself, "What is right for my growth, for my soul, for my higher purpose?" That inner question connects her with divine strength, and her choices become wise, not weak. There is a beautiful thing about depending on God's wisdom. It removes fear. When you are attached to human opinions, you are always worried. What will they say about me? What if they reject me? What if they do not approve? But when you anchor yourself in divine guidance, you realize that the world's approval is temporary, while God's truth is eternal. This freedom gives you wings. It allows you to walk into a room with confidence, to make choices without hesitation, and to live a life of integrity without bending to please everyone around you. Daily life offers countless examples. Imagine a woman standing at a crossroad. One path is easy but dishonest. The other is difficult but truthful. The crowd tells her, "Take the easy path, everyone does it." But deep inside, the voice of wisdom whispers, "Do what is right, not what is easy." If she chooses the path of honesty, she may face struggles at first, but eventually her character shines, her respect grows, and her life becomes peaceful. This is the difference between those who live for the approval of people and those who live guided by eternal principles. Another example is in relationships. Sometimes society pressures women with endless opinions. Marry by this age, act this way, dress like that, speak like this. A woman who lives only by these voices may lose her individuality, her spirit, her joy. But the woman who depends on God's wisdom learns to love herself as she is created, to honor her uniqueness, and to wait for the right relationships that align with her values. She does not run after approval because she knows she is already whole. Depending on God's wisdom also makes decision making lighter. Life is full of choices, from career to family to personal growth. Human opinions often make us doubt, confuse, or even delay important steps. But when we pause, pray, and reflect with sincerity, we receive clarity. That inner clarity is far more powerful than thousands of external suggestions. It is like standing on a high mountain and seeing the whole valley clearly, while others below can only guess at what lies ahead. It is important to remember that wisdom is not always about grand decisions. It is also about daily choices. Choosing patience over anger, kindness over rudeness, gratitude over complaint. These are small but powerful reflections of divine wisdom. When a woman learns to depend on such principles, her life becomes like a flowing river column, steady and nourishing everyone around her. People feel peace in her presence because she is not carried away by every storm of opinion. So when I say that smart women depend on God's wisdom, I mean they learn to listen deeply to the whispers of truth within, to the timeless lessons of life, to the voice that speaks beyond temporary noise. They understand that people's judgments may shift with fashion, with trends, with convenience, but God's wisdom is like the roots of a great tree, holding them firm through sunshine and storm alike. And here lies the secret of true strength. A smart woman is not the loudest, not the richest, not even the most noticed. She is the one who walks with quiet confidence, who decides with clarity, and who shines with dignity because her foundation is eternal. While others chase after applause, she chases after wisdom. While others bend to every opinion, she bows only to truth. That is why she is smart. That is why she is free. And that is why, no matter what the world says, her life becomes an inspiration for everyone who crosses her path. There is a silent power that lives inside every woman, a strength that does not need applause, compliments, or recognition from others to survive. That power is called self-respect. A truly smart woman understands that self-respect is her crown, her shield, and her silent declaration to the world that she knows her worth. The problem is that too often, we are conditioned to search for validation. We begin to measure our value by the number of likes on a post, the compliments we receive about how we look, or the approval of those around us. But when we build our identity on validation, we hand over the key to our happiness into the hands of others. Self-respect, on the other hand, keeps that key in our own pocket, safe and unshakable. Imagine a woman who constantly waits for others to praise her. She dresses beautifully, she speaks kindly, and she works hard, but if nobody notices, she feels invisible. Such a woman becomes trapped in the prison of other people's approval. One day she feels on top of the world because someone admired her, but the next day she feels broken because someone criticized her. Life becomes a roller coaster of emotions, controlled not by her, but by the shifting moods of others. A smart woman sees through this illusion. She understands that real strength lies in standing tall, even when no one is clapping, smiling even when no one is watching, and believing in her own value, even when no one voices it. Self-respect is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about honoring yourself the way God has created you. about treating yourself with the same dignity you expect others to show you. It is about drawing boundaries when needed, saying no when something does not align with your values, and not lowering your standards just to please someone temporarily. In daily life, this shows up in simple but powerful ways. A woman with self-respect will not tolerate disrespectful behavior from friends, family, or colleagues. She may forgive, but she will not allow herself to be repeatedly used or insulted. Her dignity matters to her more than temporary company. Take the example of a workplace. Imagine a woman who is constantly overworked because she fears saying no to her boss. She craves validation so much that she sacrifices her health, her peace, and even her relationships just to be seen as good or worthy. Over time, this leaves her drained, exhausted, and resentful. Now imagine another woman who knows her worth. She gives her best at work, but she also respects her boundaries. She communicates clearly. She does not let people walk over her, and she carries herself with calm strength. Which of these women is truly smart? The one who gains endless validation but loses herself, or the one who carries her self-respect with quiet pride? In relationships too, self-respect is the foundation. Many women stay in unhealthy connections simply because they fear loneliness or crave approval. They accept being treated poorly because deep inside they believe, maybe I am not enough. Maybe if I try harder, they will value me. But a woman who lives with self-respect knows that love without respect is not love at all. She understands that it is better to walk alone with dignity than to walk with someone who diminishes her spirit. Her value is not tied to how others treat her, but to how she treats herself. Self-respect also shows in the way a woman speaks to herself. Too often, women become their own harshest critics, repeating words of doubt and insecurity. I am not good enough. I am not beautiful enough. I am not capable enough. But a smart woman shifts this inner dialogue. She may not always feel perfect, but she refuses to disrespect herself with negative self-talk. Instead, she affirms her strengths, embraces her flaws as part of her journey, and honors the person she is becoming. Her validation comes from within, not from the world outside. It is important to understand that when you live with self-respect, the world begins to mirror it back to you. People treat you the way you allow them to. If you constantly depend on others for approval, they will sense it and take advantage. But if you carry yourself with quiet dignity, they are forced to respect you. It is like walking with a straight back and steady eyes. The posture itself communicates that you know your worth. A beautiful truth is that self-respect is deeply connected with God's wisdom. When you realize that you are a creation of the divine, you naturally begin to treat yourself with honor. You stop begging for crumbs of attention when you know you are already complete. You stop lowering your values when you know you are meant to live with purpose. You stop seeking validation when you know you are already validated by the one who created you. This is where confidence flows, not from ego, but from truth. In everyday life, there will always be people who underestimate you, criticize you, or overlook your value. But if you depend on self-respect rather than their validation, you remain unshaken. Their words may sting, but they cannot break you. Their silence may hurt, but it cannot erase your worth. Because you know deep within that your value is not up for debate. So let every woman remember this. You are not defined by someone's opinion, someone's praise, or someone's rejection. You are defined by the respect you give yourself every single day. When you wake up and carry yourself with dignity, when you say no to things that insult your soul, when you refuse to beg for validation, then you are truly smart. Because a woman who depends on self respect walks like a queen. She does not need a crown to prove it, for her very presence shines with grace, power, and unshakable worth. Patience is not weakness, it is one of the greatest forms of strength. In a world where everything is rushed, fast food, fast results, fast decisions, patience seems outdated. But a smart woman knows that patience is not about waiting without action. It is about waiting with wisdom. It is about holding yourself steady when the heart wants to rush, when the mind wants to grab instant gratification, and when the world pushes you to decide immediately. Patience is like a calm river. From the outside, it looks still, but beneath the surface, it is moving steadily toward its destination. A woman who depends on patience does not get carried away by the storms of life. She becomes the storm's calm center. Think about the smallest daily frustrations we all face: traffic jams, long lines at the grocery store, delayed replies from people we love. For many, these moments trigger irritation and anger, but for a woman of patience, they become small practices of peace. Instead of letting her blood pressure rise or her mind explode with complaints, she chooses to breathe, to pause, and to remember that not everything needs to happen in her timing. These simple acts of patience not only save her peace, but also preserve her relationships. A harsh word spoken in impatience can leave scars, while silence and restraint spoken in patience can save love. In bigger areas of life, patience becomes even more powerful. Take, for example, the journey of dreams. A young woman may wish to achieve success quickly, whether in studies, career, or personal goals. The temptation of impatience whispers, "You should already be there. If it is not happening now, maybe it never will." But a patient woman reminds herself that flowers do not bloom the day they are planted. They require seasons of watering, sunlight, and growth hidden beneath the soil. She continues to put in effort without demanding instant results, because she knows that every small step is preparing her for the bigger picture. Relationships too require patience. Imagine a marriage, a friendship, or even a parent-child bond. There will always be disagreements, misunderstandings, and differences. An impatient person reacts instantly, shouting, blaming, or walking away. But a woman with patience pauses. She listens before answering, she reflects before reacting, and she chooses to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Her patience becomes the glue that holds the relationship together, because she understands that not every battle needs to be fought and not every word needs to be spoken. Patience also protects us from the traps of regret. How many times in life have we made impulsive decisions, sending a message in anger, spending money carelessly, or trusting someone too quickly, only to look back and say, "If only I had waited, I would have seen things more clearly." Patience is like a shield against these regrets. It gives us time to see the whole picture, to test the strength of our emotions, and to make decisions that align with our values rather than our impulses. A smart woman knows this. She depends on patience not as a delay, but as a tool of clarity. Consider the example of cooking. No matter how hungry you are, you cannot cook rice in 2 minutes if it requires 20. If you try to rush it, the food will be raw, tasteless, and incomplete. Life works in the same way. Goals, dreams, and growth all require their cooking time. Impatience pulls the pot off the fire too soon, but patience allows it to complete its process, making the result far more satisfying. A smart woman knows that rushing life ruins the flavor of her journey, so she waits with grace, allowing each stage of life to cook at its natural pace. Another beautiful aspect of patience is the trust it builds in God. When you choose patience, you are saying, I trust that things will unfold at the right time. I do not need to force what is not ready, because I believe there is wisdom in the timing of life. This faith removes anxiety and replaces it with peace. It frees you from the burden of control and teaches you the art of surrender. The patient woman does not become lazy, she works diligently. But she does not panic when results are delayed. She smiles with trust, knowing that God's clock never runs late. In daily life, patience also shows up in the way a woman handles her emotions. When anger rises, she takes a breath. When fear shouts, she stays still. When doubt creeps in, she waits for clarity. People around her may wonder why she is so calm when others are restless. But that is her secret. She has learned that patience gives her power. She does not burn her energy in unnecessary reactions. She invests her energy in thoughtful responses. This kind of patience makes a woman magnetic. People feel safe around her because they know she will not explode in irritation. They trust her because they know she will take her time before making decisions. They admire her because while others rush into mistakes, she walks steadily into wisdom. Her patience becomes her silent strength, a quality that sets her apart in a world that is always rushing. So let us understand clearly, impatience is noise, but patience is music. Impulses are like sparks that burn out quickly, but patience is like a steady flame that lights the way. A smart woman does not allow her impulses to rule her because she knows they are temporary. She allows patience to guide her because she knows it is eternal. And that is why when storms come, she does not break. When delays happen, she does not despair. When dreams take time, she does not give up. She waits, she trusts, she acts with wisdom. And in doing so, she proves that patience is not just a virtue, it is a superpower.